addicted to you? What if I said you can master this secret by tonight? Listen up and I'll let you in on a little secret on how to make any girl come, and I mean come, back to your bed over and over again. Hello, my name is Jennifer Dobrowitz, and this is the most important video you'll ever watch if you've ever felt the need to push a woman over the edge and make her come back on her hands and knees, begging for more. It should come as no surprise to you that women think so utterly different than men that they can come off as a complete mystery. It's hard to tell what they're thinking, let alone what gets them off. Even the most prudish girl can spread eagle after the first kiss if you do it right. Listen to what I have to say to make any ice queen turn into a Juicy Lucy. So keep on watching to find out how you can become the best lay she ever had. Here's a fun tidbit of information. Only 12% of women commonly experience orgasms through penetration. I know, right? Here's another fun fact. 75% of women need their clitoris lovingly touched in order to reach orgasm. That's a fact. It doesn't end here. 82% of married women reportedly prefer receiving cunnilingus, apparently experiencing an orgasm 81% of the time. Think, and she won't even give you a blowjob in return. Laugh, but these are the results of survey after survey conducted randomly on women all over the US. If you think this has nothing to do with you, you're part of the problem and not the solution. Oh, you're part of the solution, huh? Are you absolutely positive? Have you ever had a relationship that seemed to start out magical but turned into a terrible one-night stand? Have you ever thought to yourself, I know how to use it, so no need for me to go downtown? Have you ever had mind-blowing sex? I mean, where she couldn't stop coming and you blew your load and you didn't know how to make her come even more? Have you ever been so nervous about pleasing her that it ruined your mood? Have you ever felt bored in the bedroom? Have you ever got that strange feeling that she might be looking for something more on the side? Have you ever felt your body just can't handle it or that your equipment was not packing its punches? Have you ever had a girlfriend so hot that you just couldn't last? Have you ever felt the urge to be the best lover she ever had? Not to add to the humiliation, but I bet you didn't know that her friends are well aware the entire time of what you two are doing in bed, including the best and the worst. Okay, chin up, buckaroo. If you said yes to any of these, you're not alone. As a relationship advisor, I hear these or similar stories all the time, and I've decided to give a helping hand to the perplexed on how to achieve their sexual goals. Here I'll help you learn time-tested methods and surefire techniques that will help make you become the most sought-after lover. Whether you're cunnilingus illiterate or a total expert, exploring this collection of advice, tips, and tricks will help provide you with what you need to make her come again and again and again. I get asked all different kinds of oral sex-related questions constantly from both men and women. A few years ago, I remember that day clearly. A handsome young man of about 25. He came to see me. He sounded absolutely at his wit's end. The story, as he put it, was that 6 months ago, he'd met the most gorgeous girl on a chance meeting while getting coffee on the way to work. What started out as a shared venti pumpkin spice latte developed into a night out, then a romantic dinner, and then into countless passionate nights. A few months later, things were going so amazingly good that he introduced her to his friends and his parents. They celebrated their anniversary with a 3-day weekend vacation in the Bahamas. Before even arriving, she went down on him in the plane, and then again in the hotel room immediately after they landed. And then things took a turn for the worst. On their return, she seemed a slight bit distant, even quiet, and she was usually the chattiest. He couldn't figure out what had gone wrong, but they fell into their work routines and she's just started seeing less of him. And that was just the beginning. He called her during lunch, but she insisted that she simply couldn't be torn away from the desk and that she'd try to see him later. It went the same after work. She would not answer or hang up with one excuse or another as soon as she answered. Soon her texts were just an emoji, and before long, there were none whatsoever. And then she defriended him without a word. To his chagrin, his friends and family wouldn't stop asking about her. He had no idea how to tell them that she was gone from his life. He was a mess. He couldn't get a wink of sleep, tossing and turning the whole night, rethinking everything he'd said and done, trying to find the reason. He tried to find another girlfriend, but it seemed that the others were just as quickly turned off by him, and they were disappointed. One by one, they wouldn't return his texts, and he found himself in a vicious cycle of relationship failure after failure. It was too hard for me to hear him talking like that, with so much desperation in his voice. The worst part was how clueless he was about what had gone so wrong. I felt for the guy, I really did, but unfortunately, it's an all too common situation. I hear the same story day in and day out, and I'm just tired of hearing it. So I put together my expertise and sexual experiences, as well as those of others, into a guidebook on how to keep your dream girl, attract new ones, and have them begging you for more. It wasn't easy though, it took much time and effort, but I wanted to create the best guidebook to cover any situation to help anyone out with these problems. What I wanted to create were rules on how to become the man she wants to be with in bed and in life. From my years of counseling and experience, I gave birth to Learn to Lick, the ultimate Kama Sutra of cunnilingus, an ultimate guide to licking down under. My clients were the first to read and approve it, telling me how much it helped them. Remember the guy in his sad story that I just mentioned? He called me up the very next day I gave him a copy, completely exhilarated. He was up almost all night with the Learn to Lick course, and it finally dawned on him. He wasn't living up to her needs in the sack. He realized if you don't hit the right chord or push the right buttons, women tend to fake orgasms just to get it over with. Women just never admit to it because they feel so ashamed of experiencing discomfort when it should be pleasure. You see, while a guy can get off every time, true female orgasms are just very, very rare. Just think about how bored you'd be with a partner if this was the case with you. I'm not talking about weak or strong orgasms here. I'm talking about the total absence of one. It's no wonder that women admit to faking them at least once. It's not because they can't achieve them. You see, it's because they can't achieve them with their partner. In other words, you. Sooner or later, they get fed up with it. Maybe it'll be a month, maybe a year, but eventually they just drift away and move on, looking for a better replacement. This is a real problem that you need to be aware of. Sometimes you'll get an actual reason instead of an excuse, but in most cases you won't because it's embarrassing for both you and her. Like, you know that guy I've been talking about? After reading my book, he immediately understood what he'd done wrong and what he needed to do differently in order to get the job done.